Love is giving, expecting nothing in return. Love is giving, expecting nothing in return. Nothing in return. Love is giving, expecting nothing in return. Nothing in return. True love is giving, expecting nothing in return. Nothing in return.
I am you and me. The love we share inside is heavenly. This is true for all to see, that our souls unify in a common destiny. The time is now, let's start today. Gotta see each other in the highest way, 'cause everyone is a reflection of all there is. Nothing in return, nothing in return. I'm giving, expecting nothing in return, nothing in return, nothing in return, nothing in return, nothing in return. I'm giving, expecting nothing in return, nothing in return. Nothing in return, nothing in return. As above, so below, our love's connected from the head to my toes. You say it's true, I say I know heart to heart is the only way we're gonna flow. What goes up must come down. Gonna spread our love and chant the secret sound. Everyone is a reflection of all there is.
Love is giving, expecting nothing in return. Nothing in return. Love is giving, expecting nothing in return. Nothing in return. True love is giving, expecting nothing in return. Nothing in return.
Have you been longing for a deeper spirituality to enable you to live a healthier, wealthier, and more successful life? To overcome stress and heal broken relationships? To increase your focus, mental clarity, and resilience to meet difficult challenges and capitalize on major opportunities? MAAT, the 11 Laws of Health, Wealth, and Success. A guided meditation course based on the wisdom teachings of ancient Egypt will empower you to do this and much more. The course is designed by Nefer from his 50 years of experience as a spiritual guide for thousands. His own meditation expertise has produced over 40 books and 100 meditation musical compositions, including the internationally acclaimed 7-volume METU NETER series that established him as the world authority on ancient Egyptian spirituality. Your Kamitic meditation course includes access to member-only webinars and guided meditations that will deepen your understanding of the science of meditation and the divine laws that guarantee progress in life. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Whether you're a beginner or an experienced meditator, you will benefit from all 11 modules that activate each of the 11 faculties of your spirit. Each module includes detailed instruction on the Kamitic meditation script. This script, that was uniquely developed by Nefer unites the application of the divine laws, affirmations, visualization technique, and mantras into a powerful meditation experience that gets results quickly. Now you can overcome the mental chatter and experience the healing of the meditation state in just a few minutes per day. Invest in your success and well-being. Get all 11 modules and save. Or get started with the 4 powers of the Divine Spirit that lays the foundation for your spiritual evolution. The course is delivered to your mobile device immediately, so get started today.
Kamitic legacy. Peace and blessings. All right. I see we are filing into the webinar room, about 300 strong. We are on Instagram. We are on YouTube. And we are on Facebook. So glad to see you. All right, head to Pooh, peace and love. If you are brand new with us, if it's your first time being here with us on Kamitic Legacy, if it's your first time hearing the great master teacher, Nefer in person, well, live, online, put a 1 in the chat so we can welcome you. Head to Pooh, Valerie, Adrian, Osir Vishnu, Akito, welcome. First time. Welcome, Portia. She's on our YouTube channel. And Jay in the webinar room, Jantra on Facebook. And we have G9. All right, Brother Leon, peace. Portia got all kind of ones, Candace and Jerron. All right. Oh, where'd I get to fly out? Well, you have to marry the right person. That's what I did. Welcome, Gina. Ankwad Seneb to you as well. It's a Pooh. Peace, family. Important night, an important topic, right? Affirmations. The power of affirmations for your manifestations. Boy, that's a topic that a lot of people are talking about. It's something that's so critical today, as it has always been. But in these days and times where we need every possible advantage to be able to thrive, to be able to survive, to be able to handle the adversities of life, All right, we have Drukpa. Welcome, peace. Yes, on our YouTube channel. Okay, and some old school folks are in the house. All right, we're about 350 in the webinar room, getting ready for another great night. And for those of you that are brand new and those of you that might not have had the opportunity to take a look at our online meditation course, our complete online meditation course called MAAT, the 11 Laws of Health, Wealth, and Success, an on-demand meditation program that gives you all 11 faculties of the spirit, all the mantras, all the affirmations. You know, we're going to be talking a little bit about that tonight. You saw a little intro video if you were in here right at the start. Okay, Yeshua, peace. And Angel, first time. Angel, take a seat in the front row. Oh, and my sister, Shechem Ma'ati Anani, and Hefen is in the house. Welcome, everybody. So my name is M. Tahuti Kamo. I'm honored to serve as an Orwa in the Osar Osset Society. We're celebrating our 50th year and bringing great Kamitic teachings to the community throughout the world, throughout the United States, in Africa, different parts of Africa, in the UK and Canada, and so on around the world. So we're delighted to be here on this. Okay, happily unmarried. All right, Tufani. We're delighted to be here with you now that we have this global reach, right? So that we can share the blessings, the teachings that we've been able to benefit for over the last 50 years. And you know, nothing speaks like success and nothing speaks like experience, right? And we wouldn't be here for 50 years if it wasn't for a gentleman who made a decision 50 years ago after tremendous spiritual inner experience coming from his practice from a very young age to share his teachings with the world. And I'm speaking of none other than Ra-Un Nefer Amen. Some of you who are new here, you might recognize the book, the METU NETER, or you might be familiar with MAAT, the 11 Laws of God, one of over 40 publications. You might even have this gem right here. Whoa, Kamitic success. Yes, we're going to be talking about success principles today and what differentiates the Kamitic system from all the other teachings that are out here, you know, that many of which you've probably tried. So for the last 50 years, Ra-Un Nefer Amen, who we refer to as the Shechem or Shechem, that's the ancient Kamitic title for the leader of the nation, a man of extreme distinction and a master teacher, is with us tonight. 50 years of service of teaching on a weekly basis without pause, because the issues that we have in the world, we don't have any time to pause. So right now I'm going to bring him to the stage, and I want you to come to your feet. I want you to put your hands together. I want you to put some fire in the chat as we welcome Shechem or Shechem, Ra-Un Nefer Amen, with the Kamitic words of power and peace. Anet Sharak. Anet Sharak, Shechem or Shechem.
Peace and blessings
All right.
to you.
How are you feeling this evening?
Oh, great.
Well, you know how I am. I had the pleasure of being in the front row for many years, so I'm sitting in the front row too tonight, because this is such an important topic, and we have so much on the internet, people talking about manifestation, you know, and by that they mean the power of the mind, the power of the word, the power of visions to be able to make things happen in the world. And I'm excited tonight for the audience. I know many of you, some of you are old school, all the way back to Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich, Norman Peale's, Tony Robbins today, and then even Eckhart Tolle and people like that, talking about affirmations and the word. So we are in position, second. We have 400 people in the webinar room, and we have folks on YouTube and Facebook and Instagram excited to hear your take after 50 years of practice on this very, very important topic. So I'm going to yield the stage to you, and everyone has put some fire. There's some hands clapping and some appreciation in the chat.
Very good. Thank you so much. With that, peace and blessings to everyone. It gives me great pleasure to have this privilege to spend another evening with you. So yes, tonight we talk about affirmations and manifestations. They go together. And I'd like to begin by defining, what is an affirmation? It's a statement, it's a declaration that conveys a conviction, a belief, an assertion that you have about yourself, about the world, about mankind, and so on. So that if you say, I'm a divine being, or I'm a human being, you're asserting, you are declaring, you are affirming your beliefs, about yourself. And it is a good thing that when you go on the internet, you see that there's a trend. Lots of people are showing interest in affirmations and manifestations. And once you take the time to pursue the roots, the origins of the practice of working with affirmations and manifestations, then you find that it is, an old practice in a new garb. The essence of affirmations and manifestations is to be found in prayers. It's to be found in, many meditation scripts. It is to be found in the teachings of the success professionals. You see that? People who teach, have courses on how to be successful, silver mind control, and so on. So the thing is, since there is a great deal of stock placed on affirmations and manifestation, what I mean by a great deal of stocks is that people have a lot of expectations, a very large expectation, for what they can achieve, with affirmations. And you need to repeat affirmations daily over time. So that's a lot of time that you are going to, give to something that you expect is going to bring you some benefits, important benefits, because, the content and the objective of affirmations is to improve your health, your social life, your finances, your performance, your morality, and all the life, effects that come from, from these affirmations. So it's important that if you're going to, invest a great deal of time, expecting a meaningful, bonus, it's important that you do it the right way, that you understand what you're doing, and so on. So let me begin by revisiting the definition of affirmation. You see that? It is a declaration that conveys, your beliefs, your conviction. You see that? And there's a great deal of power in conviction and belief. If you believe something strongly enough, you see, you can run the opportunity of making things happen. The power of belief is well known and very well established in religion and spirituality and in the world of success and things of that nature. You see that? The problem, though, is that if that belief can be contrary to your well-being and the well-being of society, as we find today, people affirming lots of things from the political indoctrination that is creating problems with the survival of democracy and the well-being of people in the world and so on. You see that? So it's important to get it right. And there are two kinds of affirmations. There are negative affirmations and positive affirmations. Negative affirmations are because of the power of conviction, the power of belief, they say, are very harmful because most negative affirmations are made, without much awareness. For example, if I'm in the habit of dismissing, my ability to do something, to right or wrong in my conduct by saying, well, I'm only human. When you're only human, you give in to these temptations, and you see that. That affirmation, I'm only human, meaning it limits me. You see that, I'm a sensitive person. You see, in other words, you're affirming that, deeply that is essential to your being is sensitivity. I'm an emotional person. These are affirmations. I make the affirmations because they lay the groundwork for a whole set of negative behavior. You see that. And you may not be aware that you are affirming something negative simply by the fact that other people do the same thing. You hear other people saying the same thing and so on. You see? When you say things like, the job was stressful, the job is stressful, you are affirming, without knowing the belief that things can produce stress in themselves, as opposed to stress being a response that emanates from what your failure to cultivate the ability to not respond in a stressful manner to challenges in life. You see that, meaning that you can go through a course and reprogram your mind and your psyche to not respond stressfully, you see, to, things that you're in the habit of doing so. So, and if at one time in my life I have a stressful response, but that changes, or if I have a stress response to something and somebody else doesn't have a stress response, then that thing is not stressful in itself. Yet how many times do we hear people say, oh, so-and-so is so stressful? So naturally, I had no choice. You see that? So you have these unquestioned, beliefs and convictions, that you affirm, that you assert. You see that? And they're very dangerous to your well-being. So therefore, the habit of practicing positive affirmations, is a good one. So it's something that you need to cultivate. And the reason that I decided to do this workshop today is because, unfortunately, when things begin to trend, on the internet, lots of people see the opportunity to make a quick dollar. So they jump into the arena, they go and they research certain books and articles, and next thing you know, pop up goes a website with somebody, passing themselves off, as a master of the subject. You see that? Affirmations, positive affirmations, you see that, are declarations, statements that convey, a positive image of your person, that conveys, a positive attitude, or positive outcome. We call that manifestation. You see that outcome, that you, for the things that you're doing. If you affirm, for example, that, let's say, God has your back, that you know that God has your back, or if you affirm, that, you are, your devotion to your, let's say, homework, from your career, studies, whatever, will yield, great results. You know, those thoughts will lift your mood. Those thoughts will, lift your self-confidence and improve your performance. You see that? There's a professor by the name of Timothy Leary, okay, that gave his students, unbeknownst to them, the MAAT students, who were, scoring, C's and D's on their math tests. And unknown to them, to the students, he gave them B's and B pluses, from every test. And after a couple of months, all the students began to score B's and A's on their tests. And the only thing that was different was that the teacher gave them B's and A's, for over a period of time, even though they did not earn it. So the student began to see themselves as being able to do well in math, and that was enough to change and improve their performance. You see that? Other teachers heard about it and conducted the experiment and had good, similar response. And that contributed to the birth of a field of psychology that's called self-image psychology, and self-concept psychology, self-identification psychology, different branches, offshoots of psychology, came from that experiment from Timothy Leary or whatever. So what you got to understand is that, there's a whole psychological branch of study, and the ancient wisdom behind the practice of affirmation and the positive manifestations that they can give. But unfortunately, what people who are rushing to become teachers and fame and make money on the internet, they are giving a watered down version, you see that, of affirmations to the public. And if you are relying on these affirmations to do well better on your job, your career, your health, your schooling, or whatever, then you're running a risk of having a 50-50 or 60-40 result. You see that, where your story could be on the short end, and you don't want that. You see that? So if you repeat over and over, several times a day for many days, weeks, and months, positive affirmations, there's scientific evidence that you can improve your health, your self-confidence, you can reduce your anxiety, your stress, okay? Even though affirmations is not a cure for serious, mental problems, it can help to improve that, delivered properly and so on. So so once you get into understanding, the foundations of affirmation, you will see that, as practiced today, it has borrowed a lot from psychology and from the ageless wisdom. So if you want to practice something that is going to be very beneficial to your well-being, which, I'm going to assume is highly important to you, it's best for you to look up, some of the teachings on psychology and spirituality to make sure that, your practice of affirmation, can give the best results that you are looking for. You see that? It's important for you to understand, because there's some people that might poo-poo the practice and say, oh, you're just repeating these beliefs and these statements, you're just psyching yourself out or whatever. Scientists have done some serious studies on affirmations. They put people on an MRI machine. You see that? Where they're able to inspect areas of the brain, you see, and the changes that take place, in people who practice, affirmations over a period of time. And what they found that you see people who, are actively engaged, in affirmations experience, a growth and higher performance in the ventral prefrontal lobe of the brain. That's the part of the brain that governs your executive functions and things of that nature. Your ability to plan, to focus, to be moral and so on. So that when you are repeating an affirmation that has been properly designed, the peace and the relaxation and the resilience that it brings to you, will have a positive effect on parts of the brain. It also affects the thalamus, the two thalamic regions, okay, and as well as the sympathetic and the parasympathetic, and enables you to reduce your stress quotient response, the stress response quotient, let me say it that way. And it also helps you to bounce back from a stressful response. You see that? So the scientific, proof that affirmations, do work on your brain and help you. Now, the thing is that if you go more into the scientific statistical reports, you will find that, while there's a good number of people that benefit, in this manner, they improve their health and, their performance and so forth, there's also a big number of people, like 50-50 or 60-40, of people who don't have, a pronounced, beneficial response. And the reason for that is that, if working with affirmations is just you going to the internet and picking, a phrase, I am doing well each and every day. That was the affirmation that Emile Coué, a French guy, back about over a century ago, that was the craze then. All he said was, he told people in Paris and United States, just repeat, I am getting better each and every day, better and better and better. I am better each and every day. People repeated that, and lots of people, got better than they were. You see that? Try for yourself. But the thing is, the time you're going to put into that, you can achieve a great deal more if you just took a little bit of time to understand the psychology and the spirituality behind affirmations. Why do something, why spend, let's say, 150 hours doing something half-baked when you can spend even less time, doing the same thing, but doing it better, with 10 times a better response. And that's why I schedule, this workshop for you. You see that? First and foremost is the fact that, you see, we established that affirmation does improve brain function, does improve, beneficial function in your nervous system. You see that? But, since it acts through the brain and the nervous system, you have to have a wider understanding of how these things, come about, meaning that one of the reasons why affirmations may not work for you is because, you are doing things that are at the same time deteriorating your brain function. Or you might need, more of a joyful energy response in your being. You have to learn how to turn on the joy spigot. You see that how, you can, the same way you can go to, the fountain and, turn on the pump and water comes out, you can turn on the energy of joy. You see that, which will, enhance the manifestation that you want to make through your affirmations. You see that. The thing is, when you go to the wisdom, the ageless wisdom system, you will find that there are 11 faculties of the spirit, you see, that control the manifestations in your life. And unfortunately, the Western world, the psychology world, has not identified the 11, areas of manifestations. Okay, there are 11, spiritual areas of manifestations, and 12 psychical, areas of manifestation in your being. So that number 23, you see, that's part of that Kabbalistic teaching. You see that really talk about the 11 faculties and the 12 and the other 12 branches in Taoism and in, the Kabbalistic system in Kamitic and so on. So it's very important for you to understand, okay, that, if you are going to use affirmations to help yourself, you have to, number one, identify the negative affirmations that you're making daily. Because if you, like, give an example, if you're in the habit of dismissing your ability to be in control of the emotions by saying, or your sensuality by saying, well, I'm only human, or I'm emotional, you are affirming, and if you repeat it often enough, it will come true. So these unawares affirmations, negative affirmations, will counter and negate the positive affirmations that you are making. You see that? If you don't have, a psychological system that you're working with, or a spiritual system such as the part NETER of ancient Egypt, then now you are you are practicing affirmation in a non-holistic manner. What do I mean by that? You are, you're picking one or two affirmations without any scientific guidance. So, you are failing to achieve, you see, the goal that psychologists have discovered, meaning that, if you're going to benefit from affirmations, you need to select a number of affirmations that will work together to create, a self-identification of integrity. You want to have an integral self-identity, which you're not going to get by just randomly choosing, affirmations, you see, or manifestations. You want to cover the fundamental faculties of the psyche and the spirit. You see, that's going to create an integral self-identity. Why? Because, you see, now you're making the effective parts of your psyche and your spirit and your mind work together. You see that? When you come now to the Kamitic system, the part NETER, which is the foundation of the MAAT 11 laws of health and wealth and success, the course that we are giving here, you see that instead of having, 3 or 4, self-identity integration principles, as in psychology, you have 11 such integrative, faculties of the spirit. You see that? Okay. So there's so much that we can uncover with this, but I'm giving you enough for a starter. You see that? Okay. And you just don't want to repeat an affirmation by itself. You have to associate it with an environmental, a social, or physical environmental event that triggers, the negative affirmation, so that you can counter it with a positive affirmation, and then now associate the affirmation with the right type of visualization. You see that? And the visualization of what the benefits you want to achieve in life, which is the manifestation part of your work. You see that? And all of that, this is put into meditation script. And why meditation? When you meditate and you're able to now to take the affirmation deep into the psyche, deep into the subconscious. You see that? Plus, when you are in the alpha state, the theta state of the brainwave meditation, it also eliminates, the chatter, the mental chatter of skepticism and doubt and things of that nature that people, who are doing just repeating an affirmation run into and fail, therefore, to achieve the manifestation that they're seeking. So we're going to talk some more about it, but I'm just going to take a little, time out to deal with some questions.
All right, all right. So I want to welcome you if you're just joining us. We have another several hundred people that have just come in. Welcome. And we're with Ra'u Nefer Amen this evening. Shechem or Shechem of the Asarset Society, prolific author, teacher, master teacher, and authority on the ageless wisdom, meaning the wisdom of ancient Kemet, Indus Kush, Canaan, Sumer, and the application of those teachings to solving our everyday problems today. So welcome, and we're talking about affirmations. And Shechem, you started off with something that a lot of us may not realize, that when you say affirmation, you're not necessarily talking about affirming something that's positive or something that's truthful. So, in other words, we can affirm lies, we can affirm falsehoods, we can affirm things that are incorrect.
We're doing it all the time. And the fact that you are unaware that you're doing it makes it even more positive, more powerful. And it will work against the positive affirmation that you chose consciously to work on. That's why in our meditation script, we use a negative affirmation as a trigger mechanism to automatically bring up the positive affirmation and visualization that you're working on.
And for those people joining us, Shechem, who are not familiar with what you're speaking about when you say a meditation script, I know you just kind of alluded to that. Could you just kind of give them a refresher on that, or an introduction to what that means? A lot of people, as you know, they think of meditation as just sitting quietly, or even if they're chanting a mantra or something, they might not be familiar with what a script is.
Yeah, in other words, a script includes a meditation script, includes affirmations and manifestations. It includes affirmations to counter the negative affirmations that you are feeding your mind and your soul. You see that? All right. And then it also includes a visualization script of actions that you must take to manifest the affirmation that you are making, the positive affirmation that you are making, and then visualizations to identify the benefits that you want to get from the meditation session. You see that? Okay. And just not simply, sitting down and breathing deeply and chanting a mantra, or just breathing deeply and clearing your mind.
Mm-hmm. So it's essentially an affirmation is just a part of a process. And I think you kind of telescoped into what we'll be talking about next week, because you're saying that the affirmation needs to be associated. You spoke about association with a vision as part of your meditation process.
Yes, the verbal part of the mind, is in the left parietal lobe of the brain. You see that? the imaging, the right hemisphere of the brain, parietal lobe of the brain, governs imagination. And then there's a corpus callosum that separates or connects the left hemisphere of the brain, verbal thinking, with the right hemisphere of the brain, imagery thinking, spatial thinking. And the corpus callosum brings information from both sides together. You see that? Meaning that the way, the brain is made to work is for the verbal part to work with the imaging part, not by itself. So that if you are doing affirmations, meaning you're using the left side of your brain, you see that, and not visualizing, having a joyful visualization of manifesting, the affirmation, then you are working with half your brain. You're not, that behavioral change to be effective, or let's say truly effective, needs input from the right hemisphere of the brain. You see that the left hemisphere of the brain talks, but doesn't really understand much of what it says. The right hemisphere, you see, governs understanding. You see that? An imagery is a statement that a picture is worth 4,000 words, meaning that when you combine visualization with verbalization of ideas and goals or whatever, then you achieve a stronger and more powerful drive to change your behavior and achieve your goals. And the thing is that the way, these are ancient teachings. Teachings have been around for thousands of years, but it has not come across, on the internet, because the majority of people that are teaching people about, affirmations and manifestations, they are not doing scholarly work. Their interest, a lot of them are sincere, but the thing is that once you get into a subject that has thousands of years behind it and it's been handled by the greatest minds in mankind, then you got to give it a little bit more respect. You see that? I could go right now and take a couple of hours and put up a whole series of affirmations on on a website and make some money. But I will not do that because, I know that this is a subject that is very deep. It goes to, the core beliefs of people. You see that? Part of the problem we're having in the world today is that we have leaders repeating over and over and over, certain beliefs. And the citizens are repeating the same things. And now we have our democracy in trouble because people repeated things that were not vetted rationally and scientifically. You see that? If I affirm something like, peace is my natural response to challenges. You see that? Meaning that what I'm saying here is that, and it's my only natural response to challenges, meaning that anger, fear, worry are off the table. You see, and if I says, and then if in my affirmation, I say peace is my natural response to challenges as verified by the science, that my peaceful response protects my health, protects my thinking, protects my performance. You see, that's an affirmation that now leverages, science and stills the voice of doubt and skepticism that you will have if you just simply say, I'm peaceful. I'm a peaceful being. Okay, like what's the source of your peace? What is the source of the peace that you're going to manifest, you see, when you are challenged? And lots of affirmations do not have the source, the opponent saying, if I have an affirmation that, I'm an awesome singer, okay, there's nothing in that affirmation, that statement, that identifies the source of power to sing, the source of the ability to sing. You see that? But if I have, if I know that's a part of my spirit called, Heteru, or, Venus, name of faculty that governs my artistic ability. You see that? And I learned how to stoke and awaken and work with that part of the spirit. And I say, I'm a great singer, due to my devotion to awakening and strengthening, the artistic side of my spirit. Okay, and I'm doing that along with musical practice and musical theory and instruction. Then now there's a source, of to manifest that affirmation. And lots of people fail with the affirmations, because there's no source for that, to manifest what they're affirming. You see that?
And Shechem, you dropped a real hot one tonight. You said, turn on the joy spigot. So you're speaking about this topic of the integration between the two sides of the brain and the necessity to have the visual component consistent with the affirmation. what did you mean by the joy spigot?
The ability, joy. Let's go back to joy, right? Joy is the energy, you see, that activates the life force. People talk, the Qigong masters, the Taoists speak about, arousing the qi and circulating it. They have special breathing techniques and certain bodily movements and relaxation, actions, activities, and so on. But the real, turning on of the qi is joy. If you are joyful, and when you're joyful consistently, you see that is making your chi flow. You see that? Okay, and eventually the volume of that is what will heal you and help you to manifest the things that you are imagine accomplishing. You see that? We speak of in the Hindu side, we speak of Kundalini. You see that? The life force, that solar energy. That energy is awakened and circulated by the energy of joy. You see that? Okay? That's why people have an addiction to joy. We go to parties, we seek all kinds of things to enjoy ourselves. So much so that people eat only for the enjoyment as opposed to the nutritional value, etc., etc. But feeling joyful, on a regular basis, on a consistent basis, to the exclusion of anger and fear and worry and grief, just not being joyful. You want to be joyful at the exclusion of negative emotions. You see that? Then you find your health will improve tremendously. Your healing will accelerate. Your ability to be successful will accelerate, etc., etc. You see that? Okay? In the Kamitic tradition, the faculty that controls joy is called Het Heru, what the Greeks call Hathor. Het Heru. Hathor or Het Heru or Het Hert. Het is a house, a dwelling, and Heru is the will. So the imagination is the dwelling place of the will. You see that? Why? Because it is through the imagination that I can invoke the energy of joy at will. You see that? So when I say I will so and so to manifest itself, you see that? When you say that I make things happen, you see that? Because, I will it to happen. You see that? There has to be an energy of joy in my life, constantly feeding, the life force to my objectives. You see that? Now that joy can be turned on at will. That's a spigot. That's just walking on the spigot and turning the faucet on and the water just comes out. You say, yes, you can turn on joy at will. All you got to do is smile deep down from your lower abdomen. Smile, whether you feel like smiling, or not. And if you repeatedly make the effort to smile, at some point you're going to find yourself, smiling. And that's why smiling is contagious. You see that? That's why people who smile a lot or cause others to smile, are highly regarded. You see that? Because it's very healing. And science has, verified the fact that when you smile, you see it invokes a tremendous healing power within you. It turns on certain neurotransmitters, the dopamine, and the other neurotransmitter, for feeling, comfortable and feeling loved and so on.
Yes. I remember.
So don't wait for something to happen to smile. Smile to make things happen.
Yes. I remember in one of your Qigong classes, you taught us something called the laughing hermit, and that was actually a Qigong practice to make yourself smile and laugh as a healing power.
Absolutely. Laughter, smiling, you don't need a reason for that. All you need is to know how to do it. And we all know how to do it. But we have been miseducated into believing that you have to wait for something to happen in order to laugh and smile. Why do you think that man is the only creature of all the creatures, or man is the only creature that smiles and laughs?
Mhm.
No other animal smiles, no other animal laughs. They don't have the nerves that go to the face that connects to the brain and the soul. You see that? So use it.
So Kem Kefa Eb Menefer Shepsutera on our YouTube channel. Peace. He made note of something very powerful that you said. Also, you were speaking about affirmations, and you said that our affirmations, our use of affirmations, have to cover our fundamental faculties and create the proper self identity. And in the
Yes,
MAAT
that was
11 Laws course, I noticed that is a key part of the curriculum.
in other words, you see, when you're using affirmations, you just don't want to manifest well-being in in one area of your life. You see, because you see, each area of your life works, in synchronicity with all the other areas of your life. So what you want to do is to use meditation and affirmations to achieve, a holistic, self-integration. You see, that is why the MAAT 11 laws, of health, wealth, and success, we cover all 11 spiritual faculties. When you awaken, all 11 spiritual faculties, you have addressed, all the areas in your life. All experience in your life comes through those 11 windows, those 11 portals. You see that? And that is, one of the oldest spiritual teachings of this world is a celebration of the Partner, okay, as inscribed in the pyramid text. You see that of Kemet, which goes back to the third to the fifth dynasty, what's called the pyramid text. You see that, meaning that the Partner becomes now in the Hebrew tradition the tree of life. You see that. Okay. And the most important thing in the tree of life, you see, is the flow of energy. You see, up and down the tree and through the different spheres and so forth. And the different spheres, they call them spheres, but but it's a hidden way of saying the different Neteru or deities. Because the Kabbalah, the Hebrew Kabbalah has to be monotheistic. Okay. But then they say, oh, well, there are divine names, on the spheres, and things of nature and so on. But that's cool. We understand that, it's a minor point, no quibble about it. The important thing is to know the truth and to use it and to benefit and to spread it.
So we have a few comments and questions. We have, let's see, in the webinar room, Francine Leonard. Welcome, Francine. She says, do you advise doing affirmations with a community when one is dealing with overwhelming negativity?
Of course, but like I said, what I hope to impart tonight is that in your practice of affirmations, just don't go to the internet and pick, an affirmation that sounds right. You see that? In the life of the individual and the members of that community, there are going to be a number of negative affirmations, negative beliefs and convictions that are part of the problem, or at least need to be removed, you see, as part of the solution. So, yes, so you need to have a guide to sit down, and perhaps we might create an affirmation manifestation course and really do a big job on this here because, as Francis Cress Welsing said, right? What part of the problem that, Black people have today is that we are suffering from, post-traumatic slave syndrome disorder, and yes, it has been verified that, when a creature and people go through certain negative experiences, it's a DNA that is, marker that is created for that negative experience. And that DNA marker is passed on to the future generations. You see that? So, that's why in Africa, there's a saying, I am because we are. You see that? And when an individual does something wrong, the traditional response is not, well, what did he do? The traditional response is, what did we do? You see that? Because karma is not a personal thing as the Hindus want to teach. It's a group thing, because the community passes on, negative, conditionings to the individuals, negative, affirmations to the individual. So we have to have, a consensus, an understanding, an agreement, and bring it into a group meditation, or group prayer, or group, whichever way you want to drive that affirmation into the psyche, you need to do that. You see that? Okay. We like parties, but come together and have a party where we spend an hour, repeating affirmations and meditating on affirmations, and maybe, traumatizing them and role playing and things of that nature. And then we can put on, Marvin Gaye after we've done it. But we're too much into the fun side of, community, get together.
Maybe we can flip this social media negative influence if we all get together and put the proper affirmations constantly on social media. We have Ada, and I'm not sure how to pronounce that, on our YouTube channel, and asks, what is the best mantra to use when I want to retain information and affirmations that I want to repeat? I say this because while meditating, I often forget the affirmations. So it sounds like this person is in one of our courses and is forgetting the affirmation they're supposed to repeat in the script.
Well, first of all, I in my MAAT 11 laws of health, wealth, and success, I composed affirmation I kept them short to help people memorize it, right? Mm-hmm. So if it's a fairly long, affirmation that she's speaking about, she might want to, what we do is chunk it, meaning memorize a phrase at a time. Memorize one phrase, for a couple of days, come back and memorize another phrase, a couple of days, add another phrase. That's what we do in music. Really memorize a bar at a time, as opposed to a whole line of music, and so on. So, she needs to use memorization techniques. You see that? Mm-hmm. Okay. Mm-hmm. Also try to, visualize, have a vision of the actions that are associated with that, statement, and that you're memorizing.
Mm-hmm. Now, Shechem, some people are very new with us tonight, and I noticed we're talking about affirmations, and people will confuse that and say, and they'll say this affirmation, it'll say, well, that's my mantra, meaning they're using the word mantra like it's the repetition of just, an affirmation. But in the course, we're actually using mantras, what you refer to as mantras. And can you just talk about the distinction of that, the difference between using mantras and just reciting affirmations?
Yeah, the word mantra comes from the Hindu language, right? And mantra is a combination of sounds that don't have a meaning. It's a combination of sounds that each one has its own energy, manifestation. You see that? Okay? So when you chant a mantra, okay, you have to repeat it over time because you're sending energy to a faculty. You want to affect the faculty, by repeating the mantra. It's like if I am in a gym and I want to develop my biceps, I curl that weight a number of times, 12 times. I do a set of 12, rest a minute, come back, do a set of 12 again, rest a minute, come back and do a set of 12. And I move to the next hand. So repetition is what enables a mantra. I'm sending energy, over time to a faculty that is responsible for the event that I'm looking for in my life. You see that? If I chant Om just once, it's not going to do too much for my prefrontal lobe and my, holistic, inner vision. But if I want to benefit from the mantra Om, I have to chant it repeatedly for maybe 15 minutes, half an hour, and it has to be every day. You see that? So it's the repetition of the mantra that makes the mantra work. But the same thing is with an affirmation. If I have an affirmation, for that affirmation to take hold of my subconscious faculties to establish and change a behavior, I have to repeat that, affirmation a number of times. You see that? More so if I'm repeating it, in a full wakeful state, and less repetition if I'm in meditation state. You see that? So it's a repetition of the affirmation and the repetition of the mantra, two different things. But both must be repeated. That led to some people to believe that repetition of a statement is a mantra. You see that? Okay. Now some mantras may have words of meaning in them, like the Tibetan Om Mani Padme Hum, where Om and Hum are the mantras, and Mani Padme are words of meaning. Mani is the jewel, Padme is the lotus. So Om Mani Padme Hum is the Om is activating a chakra, the Hum is activating the Guru chakra, and Mani Padme Hum, Mani Padme are words that are saying the jewel in the chakra, that's the lotus, Padme. The jewel in the chakra is the divine self-identity Om, and the divine, wisdom center Hum, the Guru chakra. So mantras oftentimes combine words of power, meaning the sounds, with words of meaning, that people then are confused, that dynamic with the need to repeat, the words that make up, an affirmation. But they're two different things. They're treated in the same manner, but they're two different things.
Mm. And we have Deb Mooney, who is on our YouTube channel, and she said she purchased and studied the TOLM, that was the Tree of Life meditation book 30 years ago, and it changed my life. I'm currently enrolled in 11 Laws of MAAT and the Winter Solstice courses. Thank you so very much for all you've done and continue to do.
Thank you for the testimonial and the shout out. Appreciate it.
And we have Carlos Brown, who says the Amen meditation script is a wonderful thing. After putting in a serious effort, peace will come over. My first time 19 years ago has made me peaceful since then.
Wonderful. Keep on doing the work. There's much more work coming. Much more heights, to experience. Thank you so much for the feedback.
And we have Mooney again, who says they use the winter solstice meditation to heal my son. Doctors couldn't help. We tried everything. I didn't even tell him I was using the meditation on his behalf, but after 2.5 weeks, all symptoms are gone.
Well, meditation has been known to be powerful healing for thousands of years. And we just have to go back to the practice. It's our ancestral tradition in Africa, going back to Egypt. And even in Europe, in the medieval ages, meditation was a big thing. You see that, but once they got into something called the scientific age, you see that They replace spiritual work and meditation with science, you see, so-called science. You see that, meditation is scientific. The word science means to know. So that, they're saying that only people that have the knowledge of physics and chemistry, they're the only ones that know. You see that. But if you know how to make the body, the mind, and the psyche heal, they're saying, oh, you don't really know. But that's science. That's not superhuman or whatever. That's just natural. They say that's nature. Just people have a very low understanding of what is natural.
Check Mahalia Napper, I believe that's a she asks, and I thought this was really important because you're speaking about the post-traumatic situation and also the effect of culture. Can affirmations help break the hold of generational patterns handed down from parents? How can you accomplish this hold? So if we speak to our children in a certain way and affirm negative things, I think that was my question that ties into this one as well.
Yeah, well, you see, the Model in the Laws of Health wasn't success. And my books, my 7 volumes plus other books, we are teaching the laws of the spirit, the laws of being. So it's up to the adults to learn and master, these teachings, and then now craft the way they conduct themselves and the way they speak in front of their children. You see that? I have a book called Stress Free for Life. Okay, so if a parent walks around saying in front of the children, I am so stressed out, this job or this relationship or so-and-so is making me so stressed out. You see that? It's a pain in the neck. They know they are seeding their kids, with negative affirmations. You see that? They are asserting things and they know the kids will, inherit that way of speaking, that way of thinking, as well as the maladies that follow such, conduct. So the best spiritual education for your children is for you to learn the laws of the spirit. The only 11 of them, the only 11 laws, that's the mercy of God. To boil down spiritual knowledge to 11 faculties, the laws of 11 faculties, and to reason from them. And once you change your way of speaking and thinking and acting, you will then begin to negate the passing of what was done to us as a people. You see, we'll keep it from us passing that on to our kids. It will change the DNA within you now and the DNA that your children have inherited, you see, and that's how we heal, the race. That's how we heal, the people. And share with all races, all ethnic groups, because you see, we're all in this, together. Okay, we have somebody from Amu Ketnu.
Oh, I'm off stage talking. Yes, she says, my person's use of the mantra has helped my daughter come out of her rebellion.
Well, there you go. There you go. Don't forget the mantras awaken faculties. So the rebellion was coming from an overactive faculty of the psyche. You see that? So the mantras activated a spiritual faculty that sent positive energy down into the psychical faculty. And now that's regulated, you see, and you, because you're not going to get rid of rebellion by physical, action against the person. You see that? Because that rebellion is coming, actually, it is natural for children to be rebellious. That's the stage that they go through life. It's a stage of the drive for independence. And you have to learn how to manage that independence without blunting the drive for independence and achievement and things of that nature. So yes, meditate on behalf of your children, if you can, with them. If they don't want to do it, then meditate on their behalf.
And I'll come back to you, Portia. Cynthia Whitley says, are the 11 laws similar to the 10 commandments? Can we say the 10 commandments are affirmations?
No, the commandments are not affirmations, and they're not laws. They're commandments. You see that? The 11 laws, of the spirit are like they're like laws of nature. For example, if I'm dealing with the law of, let's say, gravity, okay, yeah, you don't observe the law of gravity because somebody, gave you a command to not jump off a building. You see that? Okay, that that if you walk off the 10th floor of the building, you're gonna fall and kill yourself. So, no matter how good you are, how religious you are, how spiritual you are, that law of gravity will kick in and you will die or hurt yourself very badly. You see that? So the law of peace, that peace is your nature. Okay? If you don't cultivate the ability to be peaceful when you're challenged, you are going to damage your health and your IQ and your performance ability, you see, whether you want to or not. So the laws are statements indicating, the natural relationship of cause and effect in your life if you observe or don't observe, the admonition that the law represents. The commandments are commandments. They're not, laws of nature. Okay, it's one of them, for example, that you must honor your parents, whatever, right? One of them is, all right. Suppose your parent, is a rapist, a serial killer. Should you honor that person? You see that? If you do not honor a parent that is a serial killer, you are not incurring any, negative karma, or you're not doing wrong to God or to anybody. You see that? That's somebody who does not deserve, okay, to be honored, because the person has dishonored God, dishonored the world and nature, and dishonored others. Not only dishonored, but done a great deal of harm to others through their. So you got to understand that the commandments are not laws of nature. You see that? Thou shalt have no other God besides me. That is a statement that is pertinent to a particular ethnic group in a particular religion speaking to their people. Okay? All right. So what about other people who see God, differently? You see that? So the commandments are, statements, that a particular group, has issued to their people. You see that? What you have to know is that you come from an ancestral group that also was in communication with God and received spiritual teachings. So take time to learn those and check them out. And I gave them to you in 11 laws of God, 11 laws of MAAT. Let's see that.
And Donovan is in our webinar room. He says he started the winter solstice course in mid-February. It was hard in the beginning, but over time it became easier. I have less negative thoughts, which has greatly improved my life. I am less irritable and more peaceful and happy. Also, my readings have improved slightly and even had an astral projection or lucid dream experience, even though I didn't actually seek it out. Practice makes perfect. I know wonderful things will happen to everyone who takes part in this course.
Very nice. Thank you so much for the feedback. And of course, these are the kind of experiences that has kept us teaching for the past 50 years all over the world, because of experiences like this that our students have had, and in such a short time. You see that these are here's a young man speaking about an experience that he's having, without spending a whole lot of money. Other people are charging thousands of dollars for a course like this, and the students are not getting this kind of responses. So thank you so much for the feedback.
And we have a shout out from Keith Jackson on YouTube. He says, "Happy to see you again, Shechem Shechem. I went to Egypt in 1990. Spiritual during that. When I came back, I found your first METU NETER book and cards and the meditation cassettes. We're going back now to cassettes, and the 11 laws still in use."
Well, it's timeless, ageless.
Yes, yes. And we have Seamus Kesma'a, who says, "Netrok Shechem Shechem, my person had problems with my visualizing. My person is just not getting a clear vision during my meditation. I'm wondering if it might have something to do with my diabetes/blood sugar."
Well, the ability to visualize is not tied into, let's say, a health disorder, okay? Unless the diabetes is affecting certain brain functions, because the diabetes is a sugar management situation, right? And the brain is the largest consumer of sugar in the blood sugar, glucose. So that could be a factor. You see that? The important thing for Shaimes, Kesma to understand here is that you need not have a clear vision, in your meditation, or at least, don't push for it, because clarity of vision will happen as a result of hitting a particular brain wave. I would just want for Shyness to do a little check off a few boxes. How much coffee does a person have every day? How much salt? Are you exercising during the day? Sometimes there are different things that may not affect others, that might affect you, like not exercising, eating too much salt in the diet. Is the blood pressure, good? Things of that nature. So checking it, are you exercising, past, 3-4 o'clock in the afternoon? So go through that checklist. Are you getting enough sleep? So, because the brain is very sensitive to certain, imperfections in your schedule and things of that nature. But do not worry about it. Just keep the visualization. If it's not very sharp and clear, don't worry about it.
And we have Richard Rondon Smith, who says, "So technically I can stimulate my Heru faculty with the mantra. Then I can affirm 33 times that I don't like smoking, and I will naturally reduce my smoking."
Well, first of all, I don't like smoking. You do not affirm with negatives. You see that instead of that saying I don't like smoking, okay, say something positive that goes with your goals. You see that, okay? Giving up smoking, is help, not will. Don't put in the future. Giving up smoking of the ability to give up smoking is helping, my confidence is helping me to be more confident about my ability to grow spiritually, or to overcome my conditionings, my habits. So recraft it in that manner. You see that? And yes, Richard, properly crafted statement, repeated, enough and so forth, okay, will help you to give up smoking. You see, I gather that you're not using the MAAT 11 laws of health, wealth, and success. That's cool. That's fine. But also, you got to understand that smoking, the nicotine goes to the substantia nigra in the brain, those tissues in the brain, and makes the brain release more dopamine. You see, that's why you crave tobacco, okay? Because you got into the point where your substantia nigra is not it's not making enough dopamine. So you got to force the dopamine to come out, by smoking. You see, in other words, your smoking is making you, you're craving for dopamine, which is the feel good, energized, vitalized, energy. So you got to make sure that you look at, carefully at what kind of things, what kind of things you're saying to yourself about your self-esteem and your ability to be motivated, because all of those things could be behind. You see that, people say they smoke to relax. Okay, so, or are you tense? You might need to do a little yoga to unwind your muscles and your nervous system. That's why I said earlier in this, lecture here, is that the problem with people with affirmations is that the affirmations, system that they're using is leaving out other contributors to your behavior. You see that? Meaning the affirmations don't work by just repeating the affirmation. They work with proper visualizations, certain lifestyle, proper lifestyle, and things of that nature. So you have to have a more holistic approach to smoking. You see that? To reducing smoking, I should say.
And just the last one, Shechem. We have Penelope Bowie. This is powerful. She says, I now realize the depression I was experiencing was alleviated before I started the meditation process and actually occurred while reading the instructions for the course.
Well, let me read it again. I now realize that the depression I was experiencing was alleviated, before I started the meditation process, and actually that occurred while reading the instructions for the course. You see that? In other words, understanding. On the Hebraic tree of life, there's a spirit, the third spirit, called Binah, B-I-N-A-H, Binah. And Binah, means understanding, meaning that when you understand something about that is true, you see that when you get to that depth of understanding a certain truth in life, it can change your conduct. You see that? So thank you very much, Penelope. Keep the good work up, and if you were able to make changes by just reading instructions, I will be so delighted to see, your progress, as you get deeper into the course. Hotep.
All right. Well, Shechem, thank you again. And we're about an hour and a half in, and I know you'd like to kind of summarize and leave us with some instructions on this topic of affirmation, and also why you've chosen next Thursday, to talk about visualization and how that all ties in.
Yes, visualization, like I said once more again, goes, it's the input from the right side of the brain, the right hemisphere of the brain. There's a right parietal lobe, that governs, artistic ability, spatial perception, and, images and visualizations and timeless, reality. It's very deep. Even though the Western world has minimized, the right hemisphere of the brain, because as the Western people admit about themselves that they are more left brain than right brain, okay? So the thing is that, to just work with affirmations, verbal, declarations, without visualizing the behavior that goes with affirmation is a mistake. You see that in a tarot, there's a card in tarot called, the Lovers, where we have, a man, and a woman, and the theory behind that card that it deals with something that's hermaphroditic. in man's, consciousness, man's psyche. You see that? And that hermaphrodite is the nature of the brain, where one is yin and one is yang. Left side is yang, the right side is yin. The yin takes care of the yang, meaning the right hemisphere of the brain governs understanding. You see that? It governs holistic perception. You see that? Okay, the left side of the brain governs narrative, sequential things, but it cannot, unite the parts of a thing into a whole. So when you just work through the left side of the brain, meaning giving affirmations, you're, shortchanging the work that you want to achieve, the work that you're doing to achieve your goals. So affirmation is a beautiful offshoot. The practice of affirmation today, let's put it that way here, is a beautiful offshoot of new branches of psychology, self-image, self-identity, integration, self-concept, and so forth. And these are branches of psychology that are not hard to understand. So take time to understand the psychological science, behind, affirmations, behind the verbal presentation of affirmations and their, pictorial, metaphoric representations, and so that you can uplift the narrative. They say about, affirmations, so that, to make this tool accessible to the community and to the world, because right now the way it is presented to mankind, you know what I'm saying, is very watered down and trivialized. Okay. And in the meantime, you might want to take the time out to check out my MAAT 11 Laws of Health, Wealth, and Success, where I package, affirmations with visualizations, with the trigger mechanisms and the mantras. You see, that activate the faculties that will regulate your life. And, because, you achieve things, not through your thinking, but through the energies, okay? Energization of the faculties of the spirit, mind, and psyche. You see that are responsible for making the events in your life take place. So to you, future psychologists, spiritual psychologists, yes, that might be, a trend. Spiritual psychology, it unites the spirit with the psyche. You see that? And that's what we're trying to achieve here. Peace and blessings to all of you.
Shechem, there was one other post here, if you wouldn't mind, from a person who's having some difficulty with meditation. Tabs N says, I notice when I meditate that my heart beats really fast. I can feel it pounding even though I'm breathing slow. What could be causing that? What can be causing this?
Well, not to alarm Tabs, right? They should see a cardiologist because, there seems to be, some oxygen deficit there when they are breathing slowly. Okay. There is nothing in the literature of meditation, that links meditation to heart problems. It just simply could be that the slow breathing perhaps is not done properly, or it is uncovering a weakness, in their cardiovascular system, or maybe their parasympathetic nervous system, slowing the sympathetic too much. So have them go see a doctor. Is anything, yeah, and so on.
All right. Thank you again, Shechem. We appreciate you, and there's lots of appreciation in the chat. So with that, we wish you a great evening. And those of you who want to learn more about MAAT 11 laws, I'll show you the website. The website is on the screen right now. I'll give you a quick look at that. But let us greet Shechem Ra'u Nefer Amen. Anet Sharak, Shechem. Power, peace, and blessings to you.
Thank you.
So, MAAT, the 11 Laws of Health, Wealth, and Success. It's our digital course. And it comes with a workbook included that you can download. And inside of this workbook, you have, instructions, but you also have the affirmations that he's speaking about. Every one of the faculties within our spirit, the 11 faculties, are described here. You're given breathing instructions and so on. You're given the meditation script, the process of how to create your meditation scripting, as was described tonight. And as part of the script, there are affirmations, multiple affirmations for each faculty, and instructions on how you can tailor your own affirmations. You're encouraged to compose your own, and also to take these beautiful teachings and work it into poems and songs, and things of that nature, which is really what we need to do, right? And some of those questions about what we can do to help our community, how we can raise our children, and so on. So you'll see in here this beautiful, each one of the faculties has, multiple affirmations for you to work with. So that's a download that's part of your course when you order it. To take a look at the course, you can go over to MAAT 11. Let me take you there right now. Hold on. Okay, so we're at MAAT11laws.com. Learn how to reprogram unwanted thoughts and habits using divine laws and ancient sound waves. That's the mantras to manifest your goals in as little as 20 minutes per day. So this website describes to you everything you get in the course. It's available on demand right on your mobile device. You can also access it through your computer. You'll have all 11 mantras and all 11 sets of affirmations. So that's MAAT11laws.com. And you can either pay for the entire thing. You have lifetime access to all of these mantras and meditation scripts. And you also get a bonus Zazen meditation module, or you can pay for it in installments. So we appreciate you being on here this evening. And we will see you on Thursday as we do part 2 of this master teaching on manifestation. Next Thursday, same time, same place, and we'll be talking about the power of creative visualization. Wow, and peace and blessings.
Take that step.
Over the hills, up the mountain, to the top, taking a step. No more spills from the fountain, we won't stop, taking a step. Over the moon, over the sun, we will continue to take that step. Over the moon, over the sun, we will continue to take that step. Made it this far, we have to keep on, no one will stop us, taking a step. Flying to that stop, singing our song, sweep away the dust, taking a step. Over the moon, over the sun, we will continue to take that step. Over the moon, over the sun, we will continue to take that step. Higher heights, moving on, stepping on, taking that step. Keep on, moving on, stepping on.